Welcome to Careless Coder. Today I will reveal a routine and effect that I created for the next Uri Geller that Uri hated. Motherfucker!
Wie gaat er vanavond onder hypnose? Ik wil het nog één keer zeggen, dames en heren. Pas op voor zakkenrollers. Let op uw spullen. Ik kijk even over mijn zij of alles klaar is voor het optreden van de volgende Mentalist. Dat hoort allemaal bij live televisie. Wie wil er niet? Nee, wil je niet? Ja, willen, schat, het is te laat, denk ik. Als die jou wil, dan ben je aan de beurt. Het ziet er goed uit. Dames en heren, mag ik u warm applaus voor hypnomentalist Michel.
Michel, first of all, I'm sorry about having to rush you into this performance, but I couldn't let that act go on. Okay, so look, Michel, you know, you created a mental detective persona. Are you showing something different tonight, or are you still continuing with the same genre of show?
Nee, ik ga deze keer de wat luchtige kant op. Ik ga niet meer de zware misdaad nu aanpakken, maar de kleine criminaliteit.
Okay. Haba Shelcha.
Dank u wel. Stel je voor, je staat op een perron. Je kijkt op je horloge om te kijken hoe laat de trein komt. Maar helaas komt de trein niet. Ditmaal geen fout van de NS, maar je horloge is gewoon weg. In paniek graai je in je jaszak. Je wilt je telefoon pakken, maar ook helaas, je telefoon is weg. Conclusie. Je zakken zijn gerold. Hier achter mij zitten 3 heren. Eén daarvan is een voormalig professioneel zakkenroller die demonstraties geeft in het kader van misdaadpreventie. Wil jij mij vanavond helpen met de misdaad te bestrijden?
Tuurlijk.
Dankjewel. Hier staan. Als ik jou vraag, wat is het meest gerolde voorwerp? Wat komt als eerste niet op?
Portemonnee.
Een portemonnee, heel goed. Mensen in de zaal, is er iemand toevallig iets kwijt? Een portemonnee, een telefoon, iets. Is er iemand iets kwijt? Meld u zich. Ik zie daar een hand omhoog gaan. Meneer, u bent iets kwijt? U bent dat kwijt. Meneer, dat klopt. Uw zakken zijn gerold. Uw portemonnee bevindt zich in dit kistje. Hij is in goede handen. Maak u niet ongerust. Robin. Ja. Hou je hand op mijn hand. Drukken, drukken. Harder, 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 harder. Sluit je ogen. Concentreer op die kracht. Drukken, drukken, drukken. En slaap! Oké. Ik ga je nu langzaam geleiden naar de stoel. Vertrouw op mij, hou je ogen gesloten. Oké, heel goed. Hoofd iets overeind. Oké. Jij hebt net genoemd een portemonnee. Ik wil graag dat je in gedachten in die portemonnee gaat. Visualiseer je die portemonnee. In de portemonnee zit een vak met kleingeld. Open in gedachten dat vak met het kleingeld en vertel mij welk bedrag aan kleingeld zit er in dat vak. Wat zie je? Vertel mij dat bedrag.
5.
5 euro. Oké, heel goed. Nu, we gaan naar het volgende vak. Dat is het vak waar het briefgeld in zit. Visualiseer je dat vak met dat briefgeld. Vertel mij nu, hoeveel zit er aan briefgeld in de portemonnee?
20.
20 euro. We hebben dus 20 euro aan briefgeld. Oké. Het volgende vak in de portemonnee is het vak waar de bankpassen in zitten. Er zit een bankpas in. Robin, kijk naar die bankpas en vertel mij van welke bank is deze pas. Kijk goed. Visualiseer je die bankpas. Van welke bank is die pas?
Rabobank.
Rabobank. Oké. Robin, hou je ogen gesloten. We gaan nu naar de verdachte. Ik ga je geleiden, vertrouw op mij, sta op en volg mij. We gaan voorzichtig deze kant op. We gaan richting de 3 verdachten. Hou je ogen gesloten. Oké. Voel verdachte nummer 1. En probeer de energie waar te nemen die deze verdachte uitstraalt. Positief, negatief. Neem het in je op, maar hou het voor jezelf. Neem die energie in je op. Ja? Oké. Ik geleid je, vertrouw op mij. We gaan naar verdachte nummer 2. Heel voorzichtig. Oké. Verdachte nummer 2. Neem die energie waar. Positief, negatief. Onthoud het gevoel, onthoud de energie. Neem het waar, hou het voor jezelf. Ja? Oké. En dan gaan we nu naar de laatste verdachte, nummer 3. Voorzichtig, ik geleid. Oké. Verdachte nummer 3. Ook wederom bij hem. Probeer die energie waar te nemen. Positief of negatief. Hou het voor jezelf. Maar neem die energie waar. Ja? Oké, heel goed. We gaan deze kant op, we gaan terug naar waar we net waren. Ik blijf je geleiden. Oké. Blijf staan, hou je ogen gesloten. Een schrijfblok. En in de andere hand een stift. Ik wil nu, ik zet hem voor je op het papier. Ik wil nu, zo dadelijk, wend ik mij af. Ik wend mij nu af. Schrijf heel groot het getal op van de verdachte waarbij jij een negatieve energie voelde. Schrijf dat getal groot op. Van de verdachte waarbij jij een negatief gevoel had. Heb je dat gedaan?
Ja.
Oké. Mag je de pen laten hangen? Oké. Of laten vallen. Haal het papier van het schrijfblok af. En frommel het tot een prop. Maak er een prop van. En stop de prop in je broekzak. Heb je dat gedaan?
Ja.
Oké. Ik neem hem van je over. Laat je handen lekker langs je zij hangen. Zo. Oké. Wees ontspannen. Blijf ontspannen. Ik wil dat je concentreert op die portemonnee. Zie je de portemonnee voor je? Ja? Oké. Hou deze gedachte vast. Jij bent in gedachten in de portemonnee geweest. Ik tel zo dadelijk tot 3. Als ik bij 3 ben aangekomen, knip ik in mijn vingers en ontwaak je uit de hypnose. Dan ben je in het hier en nu. 1, 2, 3. Ontwaak. Open je ogen. Oh, niet vallen. Hoe voel je?
Ja, oké.
Ja, oké, super. Jij hebt in gedachten waargenomen, in de portemonnee... Waar is mijn... Oh, die is eruit gevallen. €5 aan muntgeld. €20 aan papiergeld. En een bankpas van de Rabobank. Zou je voor mij hierheen willen komen? Kom hierheen. Kijk in de kist. En neem de portemonnee eruit. Oké, we gaan hier staan. Robin. Zou je voor mij de portemonnee willen openen? En het klein geld hardop in mijn hand willen uittellen? Jij zei €5.
€2. €4.
En 1 is €5. Goed gedaan. Het vak met het papiergeld. Jij zei 20 euro aan papiergeld. Zou je van mij het papiergeld willen tellen? In mijn hand. Dames en heren, 20 euro. Podest leeg.
Ja.
En wat bonnetjes. Als laatste heb jij waargenomen in de hypnose een bankpas van de Rabobank. Zou je van mij de bankpas eruit willen halen? Er zit maar 1 bankpas in. Zou je die van mij eruit willen halen en mij vertellen, desnoods laten zien, van welke bank is deze bankpas?
De Rabobank.
De Rabobank, dames en heren. Dankjewel. De daders. Wil de zakkenroller nu opstaan? Nummer 3. Zou jij voor mij de prop uit je zak willen halen en willen laten zien bij wie jij het negatieve gevoel had? Dames en heren, nummer 3. Dan gaan we nu kijken, meneer achter in de tribune. We gaan nu kijken hoe u beroofd bent van uw portemonnee. Kijk eens, hier bent u. Ziet u? Samen met uw partner, denk ik. U staat hier te wachten. En even kijken wat daar gebeurt. Oh, daar hebben we hem. U wordt hier wordt u gerold. Echt ongelooflijk. En daar gaat hij, dames en heren. Daar de nummer 3. Dankjewel.
Jezus, man.
Dankjewel.
Het is ongelooflijk maar waar. Dames en heren, mentalist Michel. Geweldig gedaan. Mijn moeder is bestolen deze week. Wil je mee? Dan kan je haar misschien ook helpen.
Mag ik heel even interrumperen?
Ja?
Ik wil Robin toch nog een waarschuwing meegeven. Robin, echt, de volgende keer, let beter op je spullen.
Oh. Nou, laat maar. Ga maar niet mee naar mijn moeder.
Ja. Robin, mij intrigeert zo ontzettend wat je nou voelt als je onder hypnose bent. Ik zou het voor geen miljoen willen meemaken. Nou, voor 1 miljoen. Maar wat voel je? Ben je er dan nog bij?
Ja, dat is raar. Ik was er wel bij. En ik had ook bijna zoiets van, ja... Ben ik wel echt onder hypnose of zo? Maar op de een of andere manier... Ik voelde de hele tijd een soort van tintelingachtig gevoel door mijn lichaam. Bleef maar doorgaan.
Want je lacht ook op een gegeven moment. Dus je maakt het wel mee, maar je maakt het niet mee. Dat is de beste
ik maak het wel mee, maar ik voelde me wel heel... maar tegelijkertijd heel energievol.
Waanzinnig.
Echt heel raar.
Waanzinnig.
Laten we vragen hoe Uri het heeft meegemaakt. Kom op, Michel.
Look, Michel, your continued crime-based themes are actually beginning to bore me. You know, last week I gave you a very good verdict, but you need to go out of the box. You know, come back with something more phenomenal, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, but I'm not impressed by this, and also don't forget to give them back the money.
Kijk, Uri is heel scherp en die is erbij. Maar ja, dat is het oordeel van Uri.
Uri allegedly didn't like it. I know from very good sources, mainly his personal assistant, consultant, that he actually loved it. Because after the show, I walked up and this guy comes up to me, whom I never seen before, and he says like, "I'm so sorry for you guys. This was the best act of the evening, probably the whole season, all those different layers." I said, you know, it's television, I know it's ratings. Now it's a fucking goat rodeo, and I'm really sorry. And I don't even have an idea how this actually worked. So that was praise. So you notice initially it's a bit messy. The presenter, Toske, is actually looking over her shoulder to see if everything is ready. That was because the mask, Hayashi, whom I actually knew because he created some really awesome coin magic, and I saw the way how his hands moved, and I immediately recognized him behind the mask because I was a bit of a fan of his one-handed coin vanish. So he couldn't perform that effect because that thing was broken. He had borrowed it from German illusionist Jan Roeven, who is currently spending time in a Nevada jail for sexual child abuse. And in transit, that thing got broken. So that's why we weren't really ready, and we had some preparation to do, as I will explain later on. So yeah, it has a lot of different layers. Now let's analyze those different layers. First of all, the guy in the audience that misses his wallet. I love effects where the audience participate. If I do a hypnosis show, I tend to do hands being stuck or arms lifting with balloons with the whole audience. And those people that actually the hand is up or the hand are stuck or the name is forgotten, I ask them to join me on stage. I love that whole image that people work together, and it gives it sort of an audience participation. But this guy is not a regular audience member. He is a plant. Now the director said, can't you really pickpocket somebody for real? I said, yes, we can, but there's two problems here. I said, first and foremost, if I am going to sit somewhere, I always check whether I have my wallet, my phone, my keys. I said, if my wallet is gone, I won't be watching a silly magic show. I will be off calling the bank to get my credit cards cancelled and going to the police station to report a lost wallet. And he goes, yeah, fair enough. I said, secondly, if the celebrity spectator that is with Michel on stage says there's 50 euros in it, and I know I had 150 in it, I would stand up and shout, where's the other 100 euros? Okay, fair. So we need a plant. Perfect. And a plant is different from a stooge. A stooge actually says exactly what needs to be told in order to make the magic happen. So if Robin, for example, knew there was 25 euros in the wallet, and he would say that, that would be a stooge. A plant is just to keep an effect on the reels. So there you go. Now there are three people that are alleged pickpockets. Now there are two mental forces in this effect, psychological forces. First is when Michel asks off the cuff, what is the most stolen item? And Robin says a wallet, which to him is like, I could have said a cell phone and there would have been a cell phone in that box. If he had said cell phone, Michel would have said, no, actually it's a wallet, believe it or not. Is somebody missing a wallet? So Robin hit that psychological force bang on, which is a 70 to 80% hit. Now the second is actually the person who is allegedly the pickpocket. And yeah, first of all, I was like 125 kilo fuck back then. So not really the stereotypical pickpocket. Although I actually did a little just to learn it in a magical context. Then we had Albert, Michel's father, who was obviously retired and a bit too old to fit that stereotype of a pickpocket. And then we had Dennis, Michel's colleague, who looks a bit shady. Sorry Dennis, no offense. Is young, is agile. So that was basically where we were going for number 3. And in all the rehearsals, there's a panel of people that we can use to rehearse effects. 3 times in a row, they always chose him. And Dennis was like, why do they always choose me? Even Robin chose me. I said, well, let me tell you the magical secret. As soon as the spectator is near us, Albert and I go like, no. And he actually believed that for the longest time. That was how he thought the trick was done. So yeah. So those were the 2 psychological forces. Although I never trust fully on psychological forces. The off-the-cuff wallet, if wallet wasn't named, that's all right. Then no, actually it's not a mobile phone, it's a wallet. Nobody's the wiser. In this case, we needed to have a solid out as well. So we recorded 3 sketches of me stealing it, Albert stealing it, and Dennis stealing it. Now the funny thing is, we shot this actually a couple of days prior to this live show. Because this production was bought by both the Netherlands and Germany. And this happens a lot with productions that rights are sold in different countries. Is one location will be the studio where all those shows will be aired live or recorded. If it's a recorded show, this is a live show. And that saves in camera crew, and it saves in the whole backdrop, the stage dressing, the renting of the sound stage. Saves it just makes economical sense. So the German audience is actually the audience that we're standing in between with Michel's parents-in-law. And something happened that I found really interesting. When I did my minor in psychology, I learned that when people see a crime act, the overwhelming majority, 68 to 73%, will not confront the perpetrator. So I walk up, I stand next to him, I put my fingers into his wide pocket, pull it out, and I transfer the wallet. And as I go to look at the camera, that was what we said we would do, that way they would see our face in the audience on the Jumbotron. I see a German family, and the guy goes, "Hast du das gesehen? Er hat etwas gestohlen." And I'm like, this guy is going to jump me. The weirdest thing happened. The guy actually took his wife and kid, and they went a stand away from us. And then Albert did the thing, and then Dennis did the thing. So we shot this in like 5 minutes with a camera up there. So that was kind of cool. So he could have said any number, and it still would have hit. And that is always how I do my mentalism, or how I did my mentalism. Don't really perform anymore. I like psychological forces. And I love to put the odds in my favor, but if they do not follow with a psychological force, because psychology differs from people to people, 70, 80%, it's good in some cases, but in other cases you want 100%. So then you go to a magical method. Now, how did Michel know which of the perpetrators was selected? Well, that is actually when Robin writes down the number of the perpetrator large, so he can show it to the audience. Now, when somebody in a mentalism context says write something down, alarm bells should ring. Because in a normal setting you would actually say, okay, where did you feel that negative energy? Number 3. There's no reason to write it down. And there's no reason to show the audience, right? I mean, you sort of suggest that the person is not really sincere or lying or forgetful, whatever. So there's a reason for that. Michel is facing away, and usually you can actually hear what is being written. Like a 1 is or and a 2 is and a 3 is. You can hear that. On a soundstage with music playing and air conditionings blowing and hazers blowing, you don't hear it. It's just too loud. The surroundings is just too loud. So we used an impression device. Robin is actually using a marker with a tiny little magnet in the tip, and he writes on my notepad, and on the back of that notepad is one of these magnetic imprint toys. You remember as a kid that you had the little magnet you could... That's just on the back of it. So as Michel closes it, he looks down, sees 3, and brings it to his chest, and that is how he knows it's number 3. Now, how does he cue us? Who needs to stand up? Because I couldn't see what Robin was writing, Albert couldn't see, Dennis actually could see. What we did is I created 3 little phrases. I said, let the pickpocket stand up, let the real pickpocket stand up, let the perpetrator stand up. So when I heard let the perpetrator stand up, I fake a movement and I let Dennis stand up. Because I know that is his cue. So that is it. It's an impression device combined with some psychological forces with a multiple out. That is how the perpetrator is identified. Now the big prestige. How did the money get into the wallet? Now I really wanted to create a couple of little robots for €5 stack, a €10 stack, a €20 stack and a €50 stack that would actually expunge those bills onto a little tabletop that then would move up with what we call a Z motion. And the same with coins. If you have coins in a tube and you have a disc underneath, and in that disc is a hole just a tiny bit bigger on the edge. It would scoop up that coin and actually drop it off when there is another hole, and that way I could drop the coins at a certain place and the money and have the wallet in the middle, and then bring that whole tray up into the chest or onto table level under some cover. That is what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, there was no money. The money ran empty and there was no budget. So I was like, well, the next option we can do is put a person in a table. And I hear the guys from props and so go like, yeah, there's no money to build a table to fit a person either. Oh, fuck. Right. And Michel goes like, I call Christian Farla. Now, Chris Farla is a stage illusionist, and Michel used to be a stage illusionist doing these big box magic tricks. So he knew Chris very well, and Chris also competed in the first episode where he was voted off. So he rings up Chris, and I make this joke, oh my god, we get one of these Penn and Teller stage props with big magical golden stars on it and glitter. He says, you got a better idea? No. So he calls and Chris graciously said, yeah, come and pick it up. So the next day, Michel pulls up on the parking lot. We're standing there. And he says, my brother-in-law, he was a little adopted Indian guy. He will fit in there. 17-year-old kid. Michel lifts up the back of the car, the boot of the car, and I see that table. And I started laughing. I said, yeah, this is definitely a Christian Farla prop with silver stars, silver trim. We need to strip that off. It needs to be just a black table. We pull it out and I go like, he's not going to fit in there. And Michel goes like, you understand mentalism. I understand illusions. This is a lot bigger than it looks. And I go like, I'm not so sure about that. We lift up his brother-in-law, and that was a really tiny guy. And his ass is stuck on the tabletop. So it's this tabletop with a diagonal foot and then the bottom. And you slide into that diagonal. And I'm such a dickhead. I go like, I told you so, Michel. And Michel said, fuck. So Michel goes off. He's really, really angry, cursing, and we don't know what to do. Because we had to pay for everything ourselves. And he walks past one of these 6 or 8 people that we could use to rehearse. And he goes like, Claudia, right? Yes. Claudia, please follow me for a second. And I see him walk up with this petite girl. She's not a tiny person, a midget, but just small and really, really thin. And I go like, she can actually fit. She looks like a gymnast, right? We lift her up and she slides in. And her head is just above the tabletop. And before I said, well, we can actually elongate a fake tabletop. And she goes like, oh, let me put my shoes off. And she slides in there. And I'm like, wow. We got ourselves a trick. So I asked her, can you actually count money? So we gave her some money and a wallet. Can you count money in a wallet? And she had this really awkward T-Rex motion, but she pulled it off. But she said, yeah, I would need a lamp in there because now we were on the streetlights in the parking lot of the TV studio. And otherwise I wouldn't see anything. And then I explained, yeah, we're going to put a fake tabletop on there. That was still enough money to do that with some lycra. And you will actually reach through the lycra. There's a little gap in there, worked away with a nice trim. The guys of props and so, really, if you just drop half a sentence, they would build it perfectly. And then your hand will move into a chest, and we will make a chest with a split bottom that you will push open, and you will drop the wallet in, and you pull your hand out. And the guys of props and so also made that in no time, because they could do it faster than I could. I'm not really a carpenter. I would be capable of actually pulling it off, but they did it really a lot better than I probably ever could. Because I looked in that box and I know what to look for and I couldn't even see it. That's how great they did it. So thanks, guys. So we had ourselves an effect. We go and rehearse this effect. And that is where we overlooked a crucial detail. We tested it out in the cold February air on a parking lot. The inside of this base is actually aluminum, so you can aluminium, sorry English people, aluminium, so you can actually slide in easier. and quicker, because they need to slide really quick into that in the illusion shows. Now the aluminium would actually draw warmth from your body, making it nice and chilly. That's perfectly fine. Except when the surrounding temperature is hotter, which was the case on the stage with, back then, still all those hot incandescent lights, like 50, maybe 80,000 watts of lights burning down on it. And we're rehearsing, and it's like, oh, Ray, you need to look serious. And Albert, you need to look off there. And Michel, move your body over here when you say that. And all of a sudden, Claudia pops up out of this table. So this fake extra tabletop flies off. The chest flies off. And she really comes out like... She's completely red. Sweating. Her clothes were soaked as if somebody just threw her into a pool. And she goes like, it's so hot, I can't even breathe. And I'm like, oh my God, what did we do? We nearly killed a 19-year-old girl for a magic trick. And I asked her, like, what do you need in order? She says, if I could breathe some cold air, that would be really nice. I probably could hold it out another couple of minutes then. So Michel said, I know somebody that has an emergency tank of air. I said, okay, we arrange that. Have it filled tomorrow morning. She said, I need another lamp because it really gets claustrophobic after a while. And something to cool me down. And Michel said, how about if we have some wet towels? Would that work? And she goes, oh, I think that will work. So the next morning we tried that. That evening I had a nightmare of another contestant, Vampire Vincent, who we love. Actually a signature and the comic that he made. That he would pop out of the table. I told him that and he was laughing his ass off. So yeah, we prepared everything and we go live. And then we had to rush to get those wet towels out of the fridge that we put them in. And that's why we are a bit late when Hayashi, Mr. Corn Magic Guru, couldn't do his act. So that's what happened. And that's basically how it went, because I think that also the production was hoping, because Uri took a long time with the introduction and with the outro. I think truly, I cannot prove it, but I think the production wanted her to pop out, and that way they could fire him. Like, this is not a mentalist, this is a magic trick. You're fired. But Claudia stuck in there as a trooper. When we cut her out, she said, like, I actually took the first breath of emergency air. It shouldn't have taken any longer than 2 or 3 minutes. Then I would have needed to bail. Like, wow, she was so awesome. I hope you learned something and see you in the next one.